Yeah, I'm ready.
Good evening, everyone. This is your host, Tahir Rao, and welcome to Hyde Park. Democracy is called, Abraham Lincoln called democracy is a system of the people, by the people, for the people. It means that people are governing the country. There is a no king. There is no anybody has the authority, queen, king, or anybody else doesn't have the authority. The people of the country have the authority to govern the country. They are the owner of. They are the biggest stakeholder in any country and any area, and they decide there and they govern through their elected representative. In Canada, also we have elected government, and Canada is one of the democratic countries. The purest form of democracy exists there. And in Ontario, provincial government is completing its 4 years in a couple of months, and in June, 2nd June, probably we are going for a new election. So provincial government led by Doug Ford and Conservative Party, Ontario Conservative Party, is ruling the country. And of course, I would say this: they are not ruling the country, they are not ruling the province, but they are serving the province because people elected. They are our chosen representative. So right now, again, we have given a choice. Our constitution has given a choice to think, rethink, discuss their performance, and choose whatever is best for the province, whatever is best for the country. So I started in this scenario, I started a conversation with the different member of provincial assembly, from treasury, both from treasury benches and from the opposition benches, that what they think about their government as a whole, as a province, as a PC party government, and their own performance within the riding, and how the opposition government think about them, how they perform. So we will talk about that, and we will bring to the community so people can decide better that to whom they should vote in the coming election. Deepak Anand is a member, parliament member, provincial assembly from Mississauga Malton. He is serving MPP, and I invited him in my show. Welcome, Deepak, to my Hyde Park show.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rao, first of all, for giving me the opportunity to speak. And I understand this is the first episode of your show. And thank you for picking me
Yes.
as your first candidate. And I want to share with you, when I got elected, my daughter was so excited, so happy. She walked up to me and she goes, "Daddy, you won't believe it." I said, "What happened?" She said, "You're the number one MPP." And I said, "Really?" And I'll tell you, disclaimer, full disclaimer, I am the number one MPP. If you go into the Ontario Legislative Assembly website,
Hmm.
because of
Okay.
my last name, because my last name starts
Oh,
with Anand
wow.
A.
Okay.
So I'm the first one, and that is the reason whenever somebody wants to shout or anything, when they open up the Legislative Assembly website and they look at who do I start with, and it's always me.
That's good. So that's interesting. And I would like to say that this my program is going live on YouTube and my Facebook pages also. And I would request whoever is watching right now should comment on about if somebody want to ask any question, so he or she can ask the question also. And if you have any comment for your MPP, especially Mississauga riding the residents, I would request them. And overall, of course, it is open for everyone, for the Ontario province and for the Canada and anywhere in the world. You can comment on that. Deepak, I would like to start 4 years of Doug Ford. So, how you describe Doug Ford government? And because honestly speaking, it's my
Mr.
personal
Rao,
view.
I lost you.
You're, hello, hello. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me?
I looks like I lost you, so I'll have to move to another location, which is more close to my internet, I guess. So bear with me, please.
Okay, no problem, no problem, sir.
See, we're living in a time that digital technology has made our life easy, but sometimes it makes it difficult because if I was sitting right next to you, it was much easier for me to answer those questions. So give me 2 minutes. I'll be back on.
Okay, sure.
in a couple of minutes.
So there is some problem into the internet from Deepak Anand, and he's moving to a good closer location. So this is my request to all the people who are watching right now, and if they watch later on. So it is a good opportunity to ask your MPP the questions about his performance, his the future plans if he's get elected, because he's already nominated from Conservative Party, and what Doug Ford did in 4 years, and whether you would like to elect him again or not. And if you wanted to elect him, so what is the reason? So what are the good points about him, and what are the negative points, you would call them, and where he couldn't perform, and maybe he has to perform the next election. So it's a, of course, all three parties are running in the race. Conservative Party is there, it's a ruling party, and Liberal Party is there. Of course, they served before coming to Conservative into power. Okay, Deepak is here, so he joined back. So that's the bad part of the technology. So Deepak, I was asking the question before we cut off, that how you describe 4 years of Doug Ford.
Thank you for that important question, Mr. Rao. I think the best way to describe Premier Ford's last 4 years been tough and challenging. As we all know, the whole world was fighting with COVID-19. I do remember when I started my journey as an MPP, it was 2018. We were talking about over 300,000 jobs leaving the country because of, especially in the manufacturing field, that's what we've seen in the last 10 years. The hydro rates were high, gas prices were high, and so healthcare was in a shadow. We were talking about hallway healthcare. That was one of the biggest challenges we were facing. So that was the condition. With a lot of debt and deficit, we entered the government, and of course, over the time we have seen there has been few changes. One of the change has been we've seen economy rebounding. We have seen right now from going 300,000 jobs leaving the province. Right now, we talk about there are 330,000 jobs which are unfilled. If you go anywhere in any state, city, you see help wanted signs all over the place. So this
Okay.
has one change.
Mhm.
Talking about the revenue, the budget, for an example, this year was about 154 billion dollars. The actual revenue came at 168 billion dollars. So those are the
Mhm.
things. But overall, if I have to talk about the last 4 years, I think the overall 4 years have been overshadowed by the last 2 years, which we all felt the COVID-19 had a
Mhm.
lot of problems. So this was one thing. If I have to talk about what government has done, I have tried to make a little bit of list. So I'm just going to go through that, Mr. Rao. At the time of the election, Premier said we will be investing $3.8 billion in mental health. That was done,
Okay.
the fair
Right.
share. Long-term care, the last 10 years, there were only 611 long-term care beds were created, wherein the government planned 15,000 in 5 years and 30,000 in 10 years long-term care. So if really look at that, I think we are already over 20,000 plus long-term care, which we've done. Uh, Reducing the gas by 10 cents, which we promised, which we have not delivered. I have to say this. We have only delivered 4.3 cents. And I would say this is one place we have not delivered it. Hopefully, thankfully, if you will see the budget coming up soon. So we are looking forward to that additional promise made, promise kept, to have that uh, some relief at the pump as well. There was an increase in the childcare spaces. We had promised 4 hours of home care, which is still on uh, progress. Major announcements made, as you remember, was Brampton Hospital, Mississauga Hospital. Mississauga is actually redeveloping a hospital, and I have to say this: this hospital, when it comes to the maternity ward, is going to be one of the best in the world. Not just here
Mhm.
in Ontario, it is going to be a center of excellence. When we talk about the diabetes, again, we have made a lot of progress. Dental care to the seniors. This was one promise made by the premier, and that's something which has been delivered. Minimum wages increased to 15, hired 27,000 nurses and PSWs, an additional $3 which was promised to PSWs for the hard work they've done. It's still not permanent, but we're looking forward to the future. Hopefully, we will see that coming up permanently as well. Subway construction. If you remember, Mr. Rao, we actually have Torio LRT in
Yeah.
Mississauga, and premier promised that we will not scrap it. We will actually go ahead and build it, and it's actually coming up very nicely. If you drive on highway 10, you actually have a pain. It's a little bit of pain because of the construction, but I can tell you it will lead to a lot of gain. And it's actually LRT is named after Hazel McKellion, so we all
Okay,
talked
wonderful.
about. Yeah,
Yeah. So,
so these are
Deepak,
some
we
of
are
the things
getting.
done, but we'll talk more in the future.
Yeah, sure, definitely. And of course, I'm getting questions also. So people are watching live. So I got one question from Kamran Malik. He's asking that is there any plan to make housing affordable for especially for newcomers and youth? So that's the biggest challenge. So and it's of course it's the easy answer is a demand supply, but how what government could take a measure could like pull the levers to make it affordable, giving some incentives to the people, to the builders, tax cuts or something else.
Absolutely. The answer to all of that is yes. And thank you, Mr. Malik, for asking that important question. Somebody, it's not just for the newcomers. It's my own. I have two kids. Mr. Rao has kids. So we are living in a house, but our kids need house. They are growing up. So it's a similar issue for them as well, as much as it is for a newcomer. Housing, employment, affordability, these are the main features we're going to see in the coming budget. And the overall answer to is, as Mr. Rao said, one way to do that is to increase the um, supply. But to increase the supply, there are many things which could be done, and that is something which we are looking at, providing incentive to the people who are going to buy, and putting some controls in place so that those who are speculating, those who are into that area, and making sure that the developers, builders get the required approvals on time, so that they can
On
build
target.
faster at a lower cost. When they're going to manufacture, they're going to build houses at a lower cost. We are sure that there's going to be higher competition, and they're going to supply at a lower cost.
So we are getting a lot of questions. So of course we have to take the questions also. So one question is it came from Sony Rose. So she's wondering like why teachers were made surplus in a Peel region and due to in the difficult time of COVID due to the policies. So I think teachers are very angry. Teachers union especially and all that thing. So we'll talk about the other questions also which I got before my interview. So why they what is the issue? I don't know. You can explain better.
So, yeah, I can help you, Mr. Rao. So, every year, what happens is at the time of the budget, so what usually happens is the schools will look at the enrollment. Based on the enrollment in September, they will budget their number of teachers they need in the schools. And what happens is, because those numbers are budgetary, they're not actual every year. And it's not this year. Every
Mhm.
year, this process happens that they will say, based on our assumption, we may not need these many student teachers, and
Teachers.
it's all
Okay.
based on the different demographics of the location. For
Mhm.
those ridings, for an example, Milton had seen a 13 to 30% increase in the population, and the reduction in the age. So you see there is going to be more schools, more students enrolled in that area, and in that area it's actually going to be the opposite problem. They will be
Mhm.
budgeting for more number of teachers than as compared to those areas where there is a number of student enrollment is going to come. So this is a standard process which happens every year.
Okay, so nothing is something done, but the thing is like is people get upset when they are already working there and all that thing. So related to that, we are talking about the education. So one of the questions are coming there, lifting the mask mandate in the schools. So people are concerned, families are concerned, teachers are concerned about that, and they are thinking that when the small kids, especially small kids, when they don't have the mask, so they will think that there is a no COVID at all, right? So they will get a false, false signals. So what do you think about that? Is it a good policy or is it a political decision, or should be left on the school boards that they should take a confidence into school boards before implementing that policy?
So I'll answer it this way, Mr. Rao. If you really look at the what the Ontarios have done in last 2 years has been incredible. Thanks to their resilience, thanks to their hard work and discipline, we've seen the COVID numbers much lower per capita as compared to the rest of the world. If you really look at what happened in US, if you really look at what
Yes.
happened in the Europe, we should be
Mhm.
proud of ourselves. But the reason
Mhm.
for being proud of ourselves is because of the hard work and the discipline. So in
Mhm.
that perspective, what Premier is saying or the government is saying, based on what advice we've received from the chief medical officer, we are following that rules. We are not saying, if say an example, your child, my child, anyone wants to wear a mask, we are not
Mhm.
telling that they cannot wear the mask. But what we are doing at the same time is we are not forcing somebody who does not want to wear the mask, making them to wear the mask. So again, very
Mhm.
clear. Some of the parents asked me this question: if my son, my daughter wants to go and wear the mask, are they allowed to? Are they going to be stopped to enter the school? The answer is no.
Of
They will
course.
not be stopped to enter the school. If they wish, if they want, and if they feel comfortable, they want to wear the mask, they are allowed to wear the mask.
Of course, it's a multicultural society and multicultural. We can talk different languages, and as we
जी
have blessed that you can talk on multi language also.
जी
दिवक आपसे क्वेश्चन है मेरा, इज रिलेटेड टू योर ओन परफॉर्मेंस. एक तो आपने
जी
ओवरऑल अपने डिस्क्राइब की इंट्रोडक्शन में डग फोर्ड ने क्या किया एज ए पीसी पार्टी, एज ए मेंबर पार्लियामेंट मिसागा माल्टन, आपकी पर्सनल कंट्रीब्यूशन इन असेंबली में, कोई लेजिस्लेशन करने में, कोई अपने कोई प्राइवेट बिल किया है, कोई आप हॉस्पिटल लेके आए हैं, कोई अपने प्ले ग्राउंड बनाया है, वट एवर, आई डोंट नो इवन एग्जैक्टली सो वट you could do, or what is the jurisdiction of the local government, but I would like to know what you have done for the community here.
जी आपने बहुत अच्छा प्रश्न पूछा है ये, और इट इज़ समथिंग विच इज़ वेरी डियर टू माय हार्ट. मैं कोई पॉलिटिशियन नहीं हूँ, मैं कोई पॉलिटिशियन फैमिली से नहीं आया हूँ. जब मैंने ये जर्नी शुरू की थी, तब मेरे को सबसे ज़्यादा जो अच्छा लगता था वो लगती थी कम्युनिटी सर्विस. जो मज़ा आता था
Okay.
कम्युनिटी सर्विस का से आता था. और
Mhm.
इनफैक्ट कहीं ना कहीं एक कम्युनिटी सर्विस की वजह से ही मैं आज एमपीपी बना हूँ. एंड आई वाज यूज्ड टू लाफ एंड आई वाज यूज्ड टू से कि जब आप कोई अच्छा काम करते हैं तो आपको
Mhm.
कोई ना कोई आके थैंक यू बोलता है, और आपको वो इतना अच्छा लगता है कि यू वांट टू गेट मोर ऑफ दोस थैंक यूज एंड यू वांट टू डू मोर ऑफ दोस कम्युनिटी सर्विस.
Mhm.
So this is one thing I think I love and I've done in my as an MPP. हम लोगों ने बहुत सारे जो इवेंट्स की बात करिए, हम लोगों ने कम्युनिटी क्लीन अप रखा हुआ था, हमने ब्लड डोनेशन कैंप हमने 2 लगाते हैं हर साल में. इसके अलावा
बिल्कुल.
हम लोग जो है यूथ काउंसिल है हमारी, बहुत ही एक्टिव यूथ काउंसिल है. इसके अलावा अल्जाइमर के ऊपर, और उसके बाद हम लोग डायबिटीज के ऊपर. आई एम वन ऑफ द चैंपियंस ऑन डायबिटीज एज वेल.
Mhm.
सब्सिक्वेंट टू दैट वी हैड सीनियर फन आवर, जो हर साल हर महीने वी हैव अ सीनियर फन आवर, जिसमें हम सीनियर्स के साथ बात करते हैं, उनके लिए कुछ ना कुछ नया लेके आते हैं. We had a bingo night during COVID because people were not able to go out. We
True.
have STEM का स्टेम की वर्कशॉप हम लगाते हैं. इसके अलावा हमारा एक सिग्नेचर इवेंट है, उसको बोलते हैं पेंट नाइट, जब all the
Okay.
families come together and we do the painting together. So there are many things which we do, and this is something which I really enjoy being part of, being an MPP. आपने दूसरा पार्ट क्वेश्चन का पूछा कि in terms of performance, what I was able to do in Mississauga Malton. So one thing I'm really proud of is about, not about me, but about my community. मिस्र राव, 2016 16 और 17 की बात है. देयर वाज
Mhm.
यूज्ड टू बी पुलिस स्टेशन इन मॉल्टन, और
Okay.
जबकि मॉल्टन का रिस्क इंडेक्स 6.1 है, इट्स अ प्लेस व्हिच इज हाई रिस्क. तो वो
Okay.
मॉल्टन का पुलिस स्टेशन बंद कर दिया गया था. And there was
Okay.
a huge hue and cry on that. We need that Malton police station. And I want to say thank you to all the community members to coming forward, including me. Uh,
Mhm.
काउंसलर पैरिश ने बहुत अच्छा काम किया है इसमें. इसके अलावा रॉन चट्टा जो उस समय अपने चेयर थे, he also had helped us, and finally we were able to bring back the police station. So I'm very proud of our community on that.
That's
इसके
good.
अलावा दूसरी चीज जो है कि मिसिसागा में हर हाई स्कूल में, आप कोई भी हाई स्कूल उठा लीजिए, आपके घर के पास जो हाई स्कूल है उसकी बात कर लीजिए, मेरे घर के पास सेंट मार्सलिनस है उसकी बात कर लीजिए, हर हाई स्कूल में बहुत अच्छी एक स्पोर्ट्स फैसिलिटी है.
Okay.
There is an adequate track and field and sports facility. Malton was the only place. We have 2 high schools, और दोनों में एक में भी ऐसी कोई sports facility नहीं थी. So I had the opportunity to request Premier to come and join and talk to my youth council. We put forward a proposal, and I am so thankful to Premier on this. And I have to say it straight, I am thankful to the Premier because the 73% of that money actually came from the provincial project. And हमें अप्रूवल मिल गया है. जो लिंकन अलेक्जेंडर स्कूल है उसमें we are going to build a proper world class athletic field, or not just we're going to build the athletic field, we are hoping to get a gold medal out of that place as well. So
that's wonderful. That's good news. So you're talking about the funding. So एक क्वेश्चन जनरली जो लोगों में मतलब जो एक अपोजिशन की तरफ से उठाया जाता है और रीजन की तरफ से भी जो हमारी रीजनल गवर्नमेंट है वो ये कह रही है कि जो आप लोगों ने हॉस्पिटल बनाने हैं especially in Brampton and Mississauga also, you're demanding too much fund. The provincial government is asking more fund from the region, their share. So, like, is it possible to province can increase their share?
देखिए मिस्टर राव, that's absolutely, it's, I think ये बहुत अच्छा प्रश्न है. I think the fair answer to this would be, at the end of the day there's only one taxpayer. ना तो रीजन पे करता है ना प्रोविंस पे करता है. At the end of the day it is you and me who are paying for it.
Exactly.
Whether we call it's coming from X or it is coming from Y, it's not coming from anywhere. It's you and me paying for it. ऐसा कोई पेड़ ना तो प्रोविंस ने लगाया है, ना रीजन ने लगाया है, ना फिर फेडरल गवर्नमेंट ने लगाया है कि वो सुबह उठ के 10 बार हिलाएं और पैसे गिर जाते हैं और उससे आपके लिए हॉस्पिटल बन जाता है. तो at the end of the day I think no matter which way we slice it, it is you and me who are paying for it.
Okay.
I do see a comment. Rose talked about Halton region saying that they are actually hiring teachers. So it goes back to what I said earlier. Yes, it is true. And the reason for that is because, see, for an example, when you have a new city where there are new houses being built, so it is obvious most of the people who are going to go and live in that houses are going to be young families. And those young families are going to have young children. When they're going to have young children, there is going to be a need for the school. I mean, for an example, my son is already out of high school. My daughter is in grade 11. And I can tell you, most of the people who bought around my house, I moved to Mississauga in 2003. My daughter was born in 2005. And there are a lot of people around me who were having children of that
aging
age.
population, of course.
So there was a time when we were in a need and a demand, and I can tell you another 5 to 10 years, we will be on the decline as well.
Of course.
Over to you.
Yeah. So another coming to, of course, you already given a lot of time. You must have other commitments too. अगर आपको दोबारा इलेक्ट किया जाए तो आपके क्या फुलफिल जो आप समझते हैं कि आप जो परफॉर्म कर सकते थे तो आप क्या करना चाहेंगे?
Absolutely. Ji, Ms. Rao, I want to say, if I am given another chance from the people of Mississauga Malton, and if I'm given the chance from God, I think these are the two major forces that people get elected, and the performance. So I would, there are many things which we were not able to do it because of COVID. Number one,
Yes.
I talked about track and field. I said there are 2 schools and we got approval on one. So I definitely be working on the second approval, which we are actually talking right now. We are actually in conversation with the city of Mississauga. We are actually trying to make the design of that track. And thanks to the councillor Parish on that, in fact, she is a big supporter on this. That's one thing. I wanted to talk more, another thing about Malton, for an example. 11% of Malton changes every year. Because it is right next to the airport, a lot of people come, they stay in Malton, and once 11% of Malton changes every year. So what, in other word, it means when the new Canadians come, they need help,
Mhm.
they need services. So the
Yes.
services, so we do have Service Canada, but we don't have Service Ontario in Malton. So
Mhm.
something which I am very committed, that I want to bring Service Ontario to Malton, so that the people of Malton don't have to go to Brampton or Etobicoke or farther places in Mississauga to get the service. So that is another project I'm working closely with the ministry. We actually got the first study done, and the
Mhm.
study had shown little less number of people who are required for justifying a Service Ontario. So I gave them my comments, and I said, rather than maybe starting a new Service
Mhm.
Ontario in Malton, what we could do is we can do a study between the two, one in Etobicoke, another one in Brampton, which is not too far away. Maybe if we can move that one, we can have more people from Malton getting the service at a much more convenience. So that study
Mhm.
is going on. Hopefully, if I come back, and even if I don't come back, in fact, I would say, I truly believe that community service does not stop with or without being an elected official. Community service, anyone can do it,
Of course.
irrespective of the position. So I'm very positive that I'm looking forward for another track and field. I'm looking forward for another having a Service Ontario in Malton. And these are some of the things. Another thing which I want to talk about is the crime prevention. So near Highway 10 and Eglinton, there is a place called Acon.
Mhm.
So there was a lot of gang-related activities used to happen in that area on Acon Place.
Okay.
So that's when I walked in, and I do remember once I got a call about at 9:30 in the night. There was a shooting that happened, and there was one of the resident. He called me. There's a town hall complex, and one of the resident called. He said, "We are very scared. We are all sitting in my home, and there was about 15 people, and a shooting just happened maybe in half an hour back." So
Mhm.
I said, "No problem. I'm happy to come over," and I went and I met them in the about around 11 p.m. And so we had a fulsome conversation, and then I did approach to the counselor. I approached to the regional appeal police, and there is an
Mhm.
organization called Safe City Mississauga. So I did approach them as well. So we came
Okay.
together, and we did a crime prevention through environmental design audit. And by the grace of God, I knock wood, it should stay like this. And the changes that were made into that area, we have not seen any shooting so far. Recently, we've seen something similar in Malton on the Darcel Avenue. There are three buildings
Mhm.
in Darcel Avenue near Westwood Square. So we have seen a lot of similar activities in that area. So I have approached again to the same stakeholders. And on March 30th, we are actually doing again another crime prevention through environmental design audit. And that's something which I'm very looking forward to, is hopefully we will be able to repeat what we've seen, and we've done it at Acon. And again, at the end of the day, Mr. Rao, we come to these countries, we came to Canada for a better life. We came to a
Exactly.
place, it's not that we were too unhappy or we didn't have resources in back home, wherever we came from, but we came for a better life. And if we cannot have a better life, then there is something wrong that we need to fix it. And that's something which I really want to work on, is bringing these communities together, working together to have a better life.
अच्छा, दीपक साहब, आपसे दो और क्वेश्चन है, आपका टाइम खत्म हो रहा है हमारा प्रोग्राम का। एक तो जो आप लोगों ने बिजनेस सपोर्ट, जो स्मॉल बिजनेस सपोर्ट ऑफर की प्रोविंस ने, कुछ लोग समझते हैं कि वो इट्स अ फेलियर प्रोग्राम, वो फेल हो गया। कुछ लोग समझते हैं इट्स अ गुड प्रोग्राम। सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक about that program, and what was the, like, it could have been done better way, or you will improve? Of course, corona is not gone, covid is still there, but of course, and impact is there, at least, like, post corona impact, post covid impact is there. Economy will take a time to regrow, and of course, to go to the come out from the recession, and especially the where we need a footprint, the small businesses, it's not online, they suffered a lot. So what do you think about that?
जी, बिल्कुल, आपने जो पहला बात कही कि जब कोविड हुआ, बहुत सारे लोगों को इसका इम्पैक्ट हुआ, बहुत सारे लोगों का इसका इम्पैक्ट भी हुआ। आप रेस्टोरेंट की बात कर लीजिए, बैंक्वेट हॉल्स की बात कर लीजिए, ड्राइविंग इंस्ट्रक्टर्स की बात कर लीजिए, लॉन्ड्री वालों की बात कर लीजिए, सैलून की बात कर लीजिए, तो ऑलमोस्ट हर आदमी इससे इफेक्टेड हुआ था। बट अगेन ये इफेक्ट जो था ऑल अलोंग सारी जगह पूरी दुनिया में हुआ था।
डेफिनेटली।
और इन टर्म्स ऑफ जो हम बात कर रहे हैं सपोर्ट की, आई थिंक वी शुड बी प्राउड ऑफ आवरसेल्व्स। एंड अगेन आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट मी or Ontario government. I think what we should be proud of is the way we handled this COVID as three levels of government. आपने कभी सुना किसी भी, आपने कभी प्राइम मिनिस्टर को कभी किसी प्रोविंस के प्रीमियर के अगेंस्ट बोलते हुए सुना हो, या फिर मेयर के अगेंस्ट बोलते हुए सुना हो? दिस वाज अ परफेक्ट टाइम इन माय ओपिनियन कि हर
we,
3 लेवल
we
के
come up as
गवर्नमेंट
a
जो थी,
nation. Yeah.
they came up as a nation. I mean, irrespective of whether they were liberal, whether they were PC, so everybody came together and everybody, hold each other's hand and provided the support. आप यकीन माने, जब मैं बाहर इंडिया से बात करता हूँ या पाकिस्तान के कुछ लोग जो पाकिस्तान में रहते हैं, उनसे जो कभी बात करते हैं, हम सपोर्ट की बात करते हैं, तो उनको बड़ा अजीब सा लगता है, उनको ये विश्वास नहीं होता है कि वी हैव अ गवर्नमेंट at all three levels who came forward and supported those businesses and individuals also. खाली उन्होंने सपोर्ट जो खाली बिजनेसेस को नहीं दी गई, इंडिविजुअल्स को भी दी गई है। फॉर एन एग्जांपल, जब बच्चे स्कूल नहीं जा रहे थे उस समय $200 was given one time, $250 was given another time, so that कि उनका जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का कॉस्ट है उसको आपको खर्चा ना आए। इंटरनेट की जो कॉस्ट बढ़ गई है, बिजली के बिल कम कर दिए गए थे। तो ऑल दीज हेल्प्स वर प्रोवाइडेड टू द इंडिविजुअल, बिजनेसेस को हेल्प की गई थी। तो ओवरऑल आई वुड से कि मैं ये तो नहीं कहूंगा कि बहुत अच्छा सब कुछ दे दिया गया, बिकॉज अगेन लेट्स बी ऑनेस्ट विद ईच अदर, गवर्नमेंट डज नॉट मेक मनी, इट इज द मनी विच कम्स फ्रॉम द पीपल, गिवन बैक टू द पीपल। सो मैं हमेशा ये, जब हम लोग कभी भी कोई भी अनाउंसमेंट भी करते हैं, मैंने आज तक कभी ये नहीं कहा कि भी हम ये पैसे दे रहे हैं। हमेशा मैं ये बोलता हूँ कि एज ए गवर्नमेंट वी आर इन्वेस्टिंग योर मनी इनटू यू। जी
अच्छा, चल एक और बड़ा टॉपिक है। जब लिबरल की गवर्नमेंट गई और उस वक्त उन्होंने एक जो इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स, क्लाइमेट चेंज, एक तो ऊपर वैसे जो ट्रूडो, जस्टिन ट्रूडो का एक क्लाइमेट चेंज एक्शन प्लान था, उसके अलावा जो प्रोविंशियल गवर्नमेंट भी उस पे इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स पे सब्सिडी दे रही थी, उसके बाद उन्होंने खत्म की प्रोविंशियल जाके। अभी जो आई थिंक लेटेस्ट जो स्टेटमेंट आई है डग फोर्ड की मार्च में कि इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल इज द फ्यूचर। सो are you gonna like continue you're gonna start any subsidy for electric vehicle, or it will be no, there will be no subsidy for that?
देखिए, सब्सिडी होता है किसी चीज को बूस्ट करने के लिए। आपने कोई नया काम शुरू किया, आपने उसको थोड़ा सा हेल्प करने के लिए, हाथ पकड़ाने के लिए आपने सब्सिडी दे दी। फिर दोबारा याद दिला रहा हूं मैं कि वो जो पैसा सब्सिडी में दिया जाता है वो सरकार का पैसा नहीं होता है, लोगों का पैसा ही उनको वापस किया जाता है। हाँ, ये जरूर होता है कि अगर आपके 7 मिलियन लोग टैक्स पे कर रहे हैं और उसमें अगर 10,000 लोग गाड़ी बाय कर रहे हैं, तो वो 7 मिलियन से इकट्ठा करके 10,000 लोगों को दे दिया जाता है।
जी बिल्कुल।
सो अगेन द रैशनल व्हाट प्रीमियर सेड लास्ट टाइम वाज कि ये जो गाड़ियां हैं 70, 80, 90 हजार डॉलर वाली गाड़ियां हैं, कोई 25, 20 हजार, 10 हजार वाली गाड़ियां नहीं है। जो इंसान, आई मीन, आप, आई एम सॉरी अगर आपको मैं इसको अच्छे तरीके से बोलना चाहता हूं कि जो लोग टेस्ला 1,20,000, 1,15,000 की बाय कर सकते हैं, उनके लिए वो सब्सिडी की जरूरत नहीं है। सच्चाई में उनको जरूरी नहीं है कि 7 मिलियन लोगों से पैसा लेके वो 10,000 पे खर्चा जाए। आई थिंक ज्यादा जरूरत हमें इस चीज की है कि उन जो गाड़ियों को, अगर आप देख, छोटी सी एग्जांपल देता हूं मैं आपको, अगर आप कोई भी चीज मार्केट में बाय करने जाते हैं, फॉर लेट्स से अगर आप आटा भी बाय करने जाते हैं, अगर आप 1 पाउंड आटा बाय करते हैं, मान लो 65 सेंट का है, तो 10 पाउंड आटा $6.5 का नहीं होता है, वो $4 या $3 का होता है। इन अदर वर्ड्स, व्हेनेवर देयर इज द इकोनॉमी ऑफ स्केल, अगर किसी भी चीज को हम ज्यादा बनाते हैं तो ओवरऑल कॉस्ट उसकी कम हो जाती है। सो आई थिंक रादर देन गिविंग मनी or subsidizing at the cost of many others, what we need to do is find efficiencies, buy more of electrical vehicles, produce more of electrical vehicles, तो उनकी ऑटोमेटिकली कॉस्ट जो है कम हो जाएगी। और आपको इनफैक्ट जो आज 70-80 हजार की गाड़ी मिलती है वो वैसे 50 की हो जाएगी। आपको डबल सब्सिडी आपके हाथ आ जाएगी विदाउट इवन पेइंग फॉर इट।
Okay. Great. Thank you very much, Deepak, for it's my honor to start this my series of program with you, and because I'm your voter too, living in your riding. So thank you very much. There are a lot of other questions, but we have a shortage of time, so I'll have you some other time. So definitely. So and again, thank you very much. If you wanted to give any message to the community, to the okay, just before sorry, before closing my program, I have a one question. It come to my mind, and it's my like personal feeling, being as a political activist. So whenever there, especially in the Peel region and the GTA or all that area, so when elections come, we are divided and subdivided. We are united but divided. First of all, we are divided in political parties. You're conservative, I'm liberal, you're NDP, and other parties too. Then we are divided in a country. So different. Somebody come from India, somebody come from Pakistan, Bangladesh, wherever they come from, Europe or East Asia, wherever. So I have seen a lot of negative campaigns started when they're irrespective of it's across the board, nothing related to any political party candidate. It's nothing to related to any political specific candidate. But we try to divide. A negative campaign started. We try to divide Muslims into Shia Sunni. Somebody has an allegation. Somebody is favoring, uh, Irfan Baba commented, my favorite MPP. So thank you, Babaji, for comment. So some people try to divide. Okay, they are the supporters of Khalistan. They are supporters of the BJP. They are supporter. They are RSS.
I hear you
They
loud.
are
Yeah, I
anti-Israel. They
hear
are
you.
anti-pro-Israel or something else. So why? How we can stop that?
Having programs like this, what you have, by having conversations like what you just had, I absolutely agree with you. The world is becoming polarized, and we need to come together. I mean, I have to tell you. I mean, I remember first time I went to Jame Masjid on Cooper Drive, and so I was going inside, and somebody whispered. He said, "Is he from Liberal or is from NDP?" And I walked up and I said, "No, I am a member of provincial parliament. I am the same MPP for each and everyone in the riding of Mississauga Malton." So I think what we need to do is, I mean, I truly feel that when we have conversation like we are having right now, and we have people who come forward, work together, and do the community service, rest all will dissolve slowly and steadily. If we have real action, we have real people doing the real work. I can tell you, Mr. Rao, the people who are trying to find an excuse will be gone. And
Hmm.
I absolutely agree with you. I hear it loud and clear. I actually had a conversation with one Baji yesterday, and she said she painted that she's from X religion, and because she's from X religion, she's going to vote this party, and she loves that party. And I said, okay. By the way, uh, we're not having a religious election. We are having
True.
an election for the people of
Political election.
Ontario. Yeah.
True.
And we had a good conversation. And at the end of the conversation, she actually said, "Here is my cell number." And I gave my cell number to her. And these kind of things, conversation should continue. And I can tell you, the day was not too far. When we have a positive conversation, it will result in positive results.
Okay, so Irfan Baba joined now, and he asked a question. I don't know whether you can give answer to that one or not. Not important.
This is where I get into trouble, Mr. Rao. We said 30 minutes, and I
Yeah.
actually have three people waiting in the lobby. And if I will say I will not
Uh,
take the question, it will be said it is because I was on insurance rates.
yeah, yeah.
So, uh, first of all, Irfan Babaji, thank you so much for all your love. You have been a mentor for many of us, including me. So thank you for all your community service. Auto insurance is a pain. It is definitely a pain. It's a pain for you and it's a pain for me. Every time we go back into the caucus, we actually start the conversation. We said, once we hit the road, no matter we say that we started from 300,000 jobs leaving and now we have 300,000 jobs unfilled, no matter we say that we are actually making more money now, people are going to ask this question of about affordability. They're going to talk about employment. They're going to talk about housing, and they're going to talk about the auto insurance. So we need to deal with this. And only thing I can tell you, I do not have the answer right now, but this is one conversation we almost have every time, and I'm looking forward for the coming budget and the coming platform to see concrete action into it.
Thank you very much, Deepak. We took your lot of time. Okay, and another Musaddiq Ikram is also sent a message. It's amazing, Deepak, amazing MPP Deepak. So thank you, Musaddiq, also for your comments. So we are already late. We crossed our time, 40 minutes. People are waiting for him. Of course, he's elected representative. People has a right on him, and he has
So
a like right on them also. So he has to serve their people.
So
Thank you, Deepak.
just before I leave, and you wanted me to finish up by the conversation, so I just
Sure.
want to say thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to enjoy. I use the word enjoy because I have, ever since I've become MPP, I have enjoyed the benefit of meeting each and everyone, enjoyed the community service, and as I said earlier, if I could or our office could be of any help at any point of time, we will be the first one to say thank you to you for giving us the opportunity. Our office number is 905-696-0367. If you're looking for any information, please call us, and 905-696-0367. And if you are in an emergency and you cannot wait to reach out to the office, please send me a text, or call me at my cell, which is 647-382-1010. Again, thank you so much for being a wonderful citizen, especially last 2 years. It was not easy, but thanks to the discipline of each and every one of us, we were able to beat the COVID much better than rest of the world. Thank you, Mr. Rao. Thank you for giving me the
Thank
opportunity.
you. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you, everyone, for watching my show. I was talking to Deepak Anand. He is MPP from Mississauga Malton, and we will continue our discussion with the different MPPs from treasury branches and from oppositions. Also, of course, I'll invite some opposition members also how they see the Ford government performance. If you like my program, please subscribe to my channel. Click on the like button and share with your friends also, and please give your comment. Thank you.